We live.
What did I just say?
We live, y'all. Live and direct.
She made a song about that.
Live and direct. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there, man? Hope everybody having a glorious day. We gonna get right into the proceedings this evening. You know, we got some exciting topics. We got some football talk, which is always good when we got football talk. Y'all know that. And so, whenever we talk football, the true football heads really loves it. Really, really, really loves it. You know? Season is upon us. Everybody has started. Season is upon us and everybody has started. Some of y'all might be emotional for the topics. Don't tune in if you're having an emotional night tonight. We don't got time for that emotional stuff. All right, we're going to say how we feel, regardless of your emotional state. But the good part about it is, you get to say how you want to feel, regardless of our emotional state. What's good, Tito?
What's good, baby? Let's bang this thing out. Let's get to it.
Another day in paradise, brother. Ooh, another day in paradise. Countdown. See y'all in a minute.
I met a boy today.
That's me.
So fine.
If you know, tap in, share the post. It's your boy PH, aka the Press, aka Mr. Above 140.
Come to my town and get with me. She love I'm around.
It's not about the amount of talent you have. It's 100% about the work ethic. Ask your coach or anybody that's been doing this.
I met a boy today. So fine.
Why is it? And they gonna say, oh, we can't, it's illegal. Cut this, cut it out. All you coaches out there, cut it out. Because that's BS.
Alright. It's your boy PH the Prez, aka Mr. Above 140, and I'm here with the General.
It's your boy, Coach Career, the General.
General is in the building. PH is in the building. It's a good day today. Everything going good. How you feeling, man? Good day today?
Yeah, man. Tired. The overcast, working out in the gray all day. I'm just tired, brother. But anyways, what's good?
I'm chilling. So let's just get right into the first subject today, bro. And the first subject, let me stop the scroll because I think, we don't need no scroll on this one. And everybody, if you got questions, chime in. And here's my question. Is there a difference, Tito, if you're coaching and going up from 8U to like 12U, or if you're going from 13U down to 8U, is it a difference? Couple questions when I say, is there a difference? Do y'all notice that the coaching is better or worse in either direction? Or do y'all notice that the way you coach the kids are different when you're going up or down in either direction? So that's the question that I'm asking. What up, Ethan? That's the question, Tito. I'll let you start. What do you think? Going up versus coming down, pros, cons, what have you?
Well, obviously, I've done it now. Once with Hector, once in East Hartford, then one was. I've done it 3 times where I've done the whole thing now. Out of the 23 years, I think that's only like 12 of those years or whatever. But I think when you're first getting into it, it's different than when you've been doing it and cycle back through. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. I think a lot of people think the younger kids can't do as much as the older kids, where they absolutely could. It's just a matter how you approach it. When I do notice every time I come back down and get with somebody that's just coming up with a team, they seem to baby the kids a lot more. And I don't think you could jump from the younger levels to the older levels, but I believe when you cycle through to the older levels, you could come back down and around. Well, I believe that's the progression.
One thing I think that's important to know is I think that one is the babying thing tends to happen because they start with the kids as a baby. And one thing that happens is they start to get locked in on who these kids are, right? At the older levels, when you're at 14U consistently, one thing that you have to do is you have to reassess your team every year, where I've been, right? Because a running back from 2 years ago might be a wide receiver or a quarterback now, right? And so you notice at the younger levels, you go down there and they'll tell you this kid is he a wide receiver, he a running back, he this. And if you're new, you like, whoa, time out. These kids ain't nothing. I want to assess these kids from scratch. But when you consistently follow that team from 6 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or what have you from the lower side, they tend to lock in a little bit more on, I already know what this kid could do. And I think what hitting that recycle button allows on the team is a fresh set of ideas and eyes and opportunities for children. Because a kid that was a lineman may not be a lineman the following year. He might be a fullback, but he's never going to get the look from the coaches that known him as a lineman all his life.
Well, see that, or they also get into this thing of, oh, this kid can't do it. Like I hear that a lot, and that shit drives me crazy. Oh, this kid can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I believe if you could teach, you could teach, and it shouldn't matter. But I don't think you could go from 8U to 14U in your second or third year of experience and thinking that that's a good way to go about it, because there is a learning curve. There is a learning curve in this, and we all think when we get into it that we got all the answers and we're gonna read and light the world on fire with what we know. And it's just, that's not the case, bro. There's always a learning curve, especially when you're coming off the porch with this shit. It's not as easy as it looks. And I think people often get that misconstrued when it's time to put the work in and actually teach something that's worthy and of substance, that takes time, that's a progression. It's not as easy. It's not as easy as people make it out to be.
Terry said, once you cycle through, you've seen the blueprint of what works. When you first go through, there's a lot of unknown and coaches finding their way. That's true. Yeah, but the problem, but the thing I also notice is, Terry, you're right. But coaches have to be coaches and understand and be students of the game. And I'll tell you what I mean. By the time you cycle through, let's say you go from 8 to 13, how many years is that? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 6 years. You have to have been open-minded, have been studying your craft, because the game will not be the same by the time you go back down. So that stuff you did at 8, 9, and 10, by the time you get back to 8, 9, and 10, it's not that it can't work. It's that you can do the same thing, but it got to come with some fresh ideas on top of it. It just can't be, oh, I remember what I did 7 years ago at 8U. The game changes. Rules are changing. The game is changing. It's getting faster. People are dumping more on kids. And so I think that it's important to understand that as you go through these progressions of going up and cycling, that that coaches continue to educate themselves on the game and where the game is headed. Because if not, you'll look back and you're running something and you won't even know that you stale, that you ain't hot and flashy like you once was, but you would think you are, because we coaches in bubbles. You know, coaches coach in bubbles. We believe that what we're going to do work. And you got to kind of believe it, because if you don't, you can't do it. So another thing I noticed, though, when coming, like this year, I'm going down, right? So one thing I notice when I go down is I think the coaches up top, and I said this I think the coaches up top that come down, and I don't know this is my own experience, so I haven't had a lot of conversations. The coaches up top that come down, we understand that it's okay to start from scratch. Where I think the coaches at the bottom going up don't want to start from scratch. They want to start from where they left off with that team last year. And so you get that cycle of, nah, yo, we did this last year. Where coaches up top is going, that's cool, but let's start over. And so you get the struggle of, let's do what we did last year versus let's start something new and reteach these kids from this year. Not to say the coaches that's moving up not teaching. We're all teaching. But you get that struggle of, let's start fresh and teach every kid how to tackle, teach every kid how to do this. And I think when they move, and when you're moving with your team coming up, you kind of already want to start from, fourth place and then go to 10. Where coaches that's coming down low is want to start from 1, because we understand that that's where we have to start from. And so you get that struggle, I think. You need an entire episode on waivers. We'll talk about waivers since y'all want it.
That time of year, huh? It's that time of year with cats. You know what? Thank God the situation I'm a part of don't have one waiver. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Thank God. I don't want to hear it. Oh, my God.
JB, let's talk about waivers. What you want to talk about, JB?
Go ahead. Yeah, let's he wanted to throw.
So let's talk about waivers. So we always get the question: should waivers be signed? Should they not be signed? I tell you.
Well, this is good because this is going to lead into the LeBron effect. So yes, this is good. We're going to lead this. We're going to parlay this right into the LeBron effect.
Right. So I dealt with a situation in which what say, if you aren't starting back from 1 each year, regardless if you're going up, you're doing the kids a disservice. Waivers equal a joke. Let the kids play. Listen, guys, I say this all the time. It's easy to pick on a program that don't want to sign the waivers. And this is coming from a guy that absolutely signed every waiver. So I want to put that out there. But you can't just say let the kids go. Now, as a coach, I understand why most of y'all coaches is going to say that. Y'all essentially, it's a Fortune 500 company, and y'all are the employees of the company, and you have no idea what it's like at the business at the top. That's not disrespectful to you. I'm just telling you the truth. As an administrator, I can tell you, I completely understand why programs should not sign waivers in certain instances. Even though I sign all of mine, I do understand why. Because what y'all don't understand is y'all think about yourself and the now. Administrators got to think about their programs and later. So I can sign away kids to you now to be on your quote, let everybody play what they want to play. You don't got no say so. Let them do what they want. It could result in me dropping a 11U team and sending 13, 14 kids back home to the streets of Hartford because I can't field the team. Or I could say, no, I'm going to keep these 14, 15 kids off the streets and playing because I got to deny those 6 kids waivers in that town and make them come back and play for me. You might not feel that is right, but you're not thinking about it from the perspective of those that have been in charge of making sure that their city and their city children stay off the streets, stay in program, etc. Now, yes, a lot of things come into play. Run a better program, all of that stuff. We always say that. But I'm telling you, that just saying let kids go and let kids play and all of that, it's a deeper discussion and a deeper dive than just what you're saying. There's more to it than just allowing kids to go where they want. You just cannot allow kids to go where they want without any repercussions. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing what? I don't understand when you say you're not doing that. And so, look, there's certain situations where, all right, Tito, let's get into the topic. So Tito and I was talking, about, you keep hearing us say the LeBron James effect. I'm about to tell y'all where that come from. So all of a sudden now, listen, LeBron has changed the game of basketball. I think we can all agree to that.
Well, he not only changed the game of basketball,
Good.
he's changed the team dynamic of sports, period.
Right. I agree.
That's
true. I agree.
He's changed not just basketball. He's changed
the psyche of sports.
He's changed the psyche of sports, period.
I believe. So here's the thing, Tito. I don't believe Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, as close as they were, ever wanted to play.
If they ever played with each other, they wouldn't have.
They never would have played with each other.
They never would.
They wanted to compete with each other.
Mike would have never played with none of them. Zeke, Isaiah Thomas would have played with none of them. Malone and Stockton wouldn't have. They wouldn't have broke their situation for no situation. Barkley at the end was chasing, but you know, Barkley's a weird dude. But my point is it's not a basketball conversation, but go ahead.
I think now kids and coaches,
and parents
want to just everybody gather up on the good team to beat everybody else and then run around and say you're the best.
Right. But sometimes it comes at the expense of programs going away, not sustaining.
Well, we've seen that. Remember,
that thought process.
There's a program out there. We know that.
That thought process is destroying the ecosystem of what it is we do. You know what I'm saying? That thought process where the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. Well, I hate to tell you, at some point, you're going to have nobody to play if it continues in that direction.
So that was my question. The rich, let's talk about the rich. The rich need the poorer. That's the problem.
Right.
And when the poorer say no, the rich can't get mad that the poor people don't want to be involved with you. And so you have a landscape in which there's not enough rich people to have a community. It's not. There's not enough rich people to have a community, dog. And so it goes back to the waivers where to me, it's a gift and a curse, and it's a fight because personally, how I feel is different from how I feel administratively and being a league administrator. I struggle with both. I fight with both. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm negotiating stuff that I personally don't believe, even though I know it's what's best for the league. Trying to be a little ambiguous here. All right. You know what I'm saying? I negotiate Tito and this guy over here, G, and I'll say, G, Tito can't sign these waivers for you. I don't think it's right. Tito needs to fill this team. I know you got 25 kids. I know the coach is one of your coaches and he's your coach's son, and the assistant coach is from Tito's town and he's coaching with you. But unfortunately, he needs those kids back because he needs those 15 kids to get the 17 to play. And those kids got to go back. So, yes, you're going to lose 2 coaches so Tito can have a team in his town. And it feels bad. Knowing if it was me in Hartford, I'll go, keep those kids. Here you go. I'll go find my 2 kids. Personally, I'm on a dotted line. Administratively, send those kids back. It's not right. And so you get this struggle of there's not a right or wrong answer. Because let me ask you, should coaches be out recruiting the best? And You know, everybody always say, I don't recruit. They just want to play for me because I'm the greatest coach in the world. Everybody says that. Nobody admits to going out and trying to take your kids. I want everybody out there. Have you ever heard a coach say, yes, I'm out there trying to take your kids? They'll never say it. They'll say, yo, it's not even me. I'm the GOAT. People want to play for the GOAT. And so they say that. Everybody says the kids want to just play for you, that you're not recruiting. It's a lie. Everybody's recruiting. I don't give a damn who you are. Y'all recruiting. Stop lying. What the hell are you doing if you're a coach and you're not recruiting? Like somebody got to talk like, you know, regular Joe Schmo conversations here and just be real with everybody.
Yeah, but
everybody's out recruiting.
The more that goes on, the more that goes on, it kills the ecosystem. Like the imbalance is gonna ruin what we know of as local leagues.
Listen, true, good. They're talking basketball. If you don't want to deal with Daddy Ball over there, come to Death Row.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Who's Death Row, man? Oh, he's saying that's what coaches be saying. It's true. Listen, people got pictures. Tito, I seen a text message from a coach to a bunch of players. Give me an opportunity because I got a personal trainer in the next town over. Who's going to give you free personal training sessions with your kids? So please come play for me. So now we're offering semi-NIL deals where I'm going to let you play for me. And because if you play, I'm going to set you up with this personal trainer here. Over here in this town, you'll get free professional services from the personal trainer. I don't know if it's right, if it's wrong, but this is what's happening in the game. You know what I'm saying? This is what's happening. Facts. I recruit. I want to win. It is what it is, says Chris Rose. True. People got to start admitting it. Stop lying about it, dog. I'm going to tell you right now, if the Hurricane coaches see a good kid, not during the All-Star game, there's not one kid during the All-Star game that's going to tell you the Hurricanes tried to recruit. I did get written a lot about certain coaches trying to recruit during the All-Star game. I'm going to tell you right now, them coaches will not be back next year. I have it in messages. So when that come back, we'll address it. But 100% for sure, the Hurricanes will try to bring in the kid. It's our job. It's my job to make sure 9 teams in my program have a team. It's our job to do that. So to say they just come in here because we the greatest coaches is a lie. I'm telling y'all that's a lie. It's not that there's no kids that don't want to come play for our coaches. It's just that the 200 plus kids we got ain't all about they want to come play for the coaches. They're coming to play for the program. That's what's happening. And some of them, yes, we're recruiting. But we're willing to admit it. Everybody out there, it's okay. Try it. Look in the mirror and say, I have personally asked kids from another program to come play for me. It's okay to admit it, dog. Like, it's not that bad of a thing, right? Now, also don't get mad if the other program push back. That's the thing. It happened to me, Tito. You know personally, I had to send what? You was on a thread. I had to send kids back to said program. They told me, Phil, we not signing none of your waivers. What was I to do? I didn't do nothing.
Go back.
I got to go back. I just did that. I didn't argue with one person. I didn't argue with the program. I didn't do none of the BS. I didn't try to change anything. I sent the kids back. I rounded up, looked on my software. I wrote all the parents, hey, they're not signing waivers. Unfortunately, y'all got to go talk to them. It doesn't, I'm not going to argue about that, though. Because it's okay to coach somebody else up. Like, it's okay. I've been on teams, Tito, where you didn't have to coach. You just won because you were so much more talented. And that feels good. Everybody loves it. And we popped our shit. But the truth of the matter is we weren't the best coaches. We had the best team, dog. But see, I'm willing to admit it. It's not a lot of dudes built like me that's willing to admit that their coaching ain't always getting them where they going. That sometimes it's the athletes that's getting you where you going. There was some games, dog, I ate fried chicken and joked on the sideline as my coach kids called their own plays. That has happened in my career. So as many times as I got state championships, as many times as I coached in Florida, some of those times, Tito, in 2019, my 14U ain't give up a first down in New England. Tito, that's 10 yards in no game, even up to through the regional championship. One first down, 10 yards, no team in New England got a first down on us, dog. The closest was Hamden and the running back. They didn't even get a first down. So you telling me we were that great of coaches? No, our team probably wouldn't have won as impressive, but they probably would have beat most of these teams had I just let them play on their own. I'm willing to admit that. And yes, I still got the regional, trophy over there and the medals and all of that. And I could run around and say I'm the greatest coach. But I confess in front of y'all that we did coach those kids. We did make them better. A lot of them went on to play college. They're in college right now, actually. But I think they're
going in. They're going into their first year.
They got 2 more years because of that COVID double year. But the truth of the matter is, it didn't cost me that much. It didn't cost that much coaching to get them over the hump. I think they were getting over that. Wes said, eating fried chicken on the sideline during the game is crazy. Yo, it was really that boring, bro. I'm not even going to lie, y'all. We were really that good. I had years where we were really that good. That wasn't 2019, but that was a whole nother year. Waivers only matter for the talent kids. NPRs can move freely. No, that's not true. Because, see, what happens is everybody's going to have their years where they have to start coaching kids up, or else your programs is not going to have a bunch of talented kids. Very rarely do you get a group of kids that's talented that happen to land at a spot. And when that happens, typically, when that team runs out of a program, the program plummets. We've seen that in the past. I don't want to say program's name, but we've seen that in the past, Tito.
Oh, absolutely.
And what happens is, if you're not teaching that other group, your 8s and your 9s and your 10s, when that group's gone, what are you going to do? Because then you won't be you won't have the spiciness on your chicken, and nobody's going to want to order your food all of a sudden. Then you're going to be the one snatching kids and not wanting to sign waivers, because kids want to play for teams that win. Kids want to play for teams that win. Let's be honest. When you're winning, people want to play for you. 2 teams went down to nationals in the Hartford Hurricanes. When you win, teams want to play for you. Now, I'm not saying that you should automatically let everybody go, but I am saying when you're winning, people want to play for you. Everybody want to be part of the movement when you're winning. Teams want to play for you. JB says some of these teams, admins, bleeding players need to look in the mirror on why kids are leaving. It's not always the join a winning team. We took that hard look in the mirror a few years ago, listened to our parents why they left. Hard lessons, but we made coaching and program changes and make it better. True. It's not all. I'm not saying it's always. Sometimes programs got to check themselves. What are you doing wrong? Maybe you're not putting the right product out. Maybe your coaches. Listen, me and Tito talk about this all the time. One of the hardest things is finding competent coaches throughout your program. And if you only have 1 or 2 competent staffs, where should they go? Maybe that's a topic, Tito. Should they be at the top? Should they be at the bottom? Should they be out?
I always think you strengthen the bottom because the bottom fixes the top. But that's a whole different discussion. The other problem when you load with the LeBron effect, when you load these teams up with all this talent, There's only one football. You can't put two footballs on the field at the game at the same time. So it causes other problems where if you don't win, you know, you somewhat successful team over 5 years all of a sudden collapses because you put too many of the wrong egos on one team. And I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about parents. I'm talking about daddy ball coaches on staffs. I mean, it's a recipe for implosion when you overpopulate your team with so-called quote-unquote studs. There's only one football, and you're not going to make everybody happy. So you're almost better off letting certain people go for your own peace of mind. But people, you know, don't think like that.
I wonder if this year every team that make it down to nationals in New England win a national championship, will we then give up the desire to want everybody to play for us? Because that's a New England vibe. Everybody kind of feels like that. Everybody wants all the best kids to play for them, right? Because as coaches, we are a little narcissistic in that we want to be able to say we the best. Some kids leave because they want their kid to be the star, so they will leave. That's true.
That's true.
Some kids leave. They want to be the star on a bad team. You know? Now, look, I just had a conversation with somebody. I'm not going to say who it is. OG didn't give me the permission to say his name. But he told me about a kid that he got, and he said the kid was the best kid on that team, and he came to us because he no longer wanted to be the best kid on a sorry team. He preferred to be a piece on a good team. I want y'all to think about that. Loading up teams with waivers, talent, and leaving the hometown kids on the waiting list is nasty work. 100%. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. I say this to my coaches all the time, so I'm going to just say it to y'all. This is no knock on anybody, but let me throw something out at y'all. If you're a coach and you from your hood and you take a bunch of kids from other places, if a kid you turn down, you figure out, well, let's say in a month after the season start, was either shot at 6:30 or hit by a car at 6:30, would you personally feel any type of way when you go to your bed at night? Publicly, you're going to say it ain't your fault. And it's not your fault. Nobody can blame you for the car accident or the shooting. But mentally, emotionally, how would you feel knowing that you turned them away when you could have took them, and then that could be the result to a kid? I know that I think too much. Personally, it would eat me up. Now, I do have kids from other towns. It's true. I just posted a picture today. I think 4 of our teams are 4. It's true. But my registration been open since February for all of my Hartford kids. Online. Everybody that knows the Hurricanes February 1st, you can get up there and pay $180 and register. So my registration been open online. But I just often wonder if coaches actually think about that. When a stud goes to a team full of stars, those kids are built different, not scared to compete. It builds character, not being the best player at everything. It don't always build character. It don't. I would say it does the opposite.
Some cats is doing the, like I told you about the 90s rap cats. Some cats is doing the, you know, I'm not hot right now. Let me call Jake and jump on the track. Let me get popping again. That's what these cats is doing with the football teams. You know what I'm saying? I got nothing going on for me. Let me go hop on with these cats and let me try to work my name that way. So that's definitely not true.
I don't think that that's true, Tyree, because I do think that listen, I think what Tyree's trying to say is only practice. Yeah, Tyree, if you're saying in practice is turned up and everybody's practicing at a higher caliber, but that has nothing to do with it, Tyree, because if I understand practicing and I'm scripting out my practices and I'm doing better, I don't have to have as much talent as you got on your team. Your kid can still learn more from me having the proper practice. You learn more in practice than you'll ever in a game. Tito says it all the time. You better love practice because you're going to practice way more than you ever play football games.
75% more. 75% more than you ever play.
And so in practice, how a person practice, how a team practice, how they script it out, what drills are they doing, all of that stuff makes you better. Not just being on a good football team. Because I'm going to be honest, a lot of teams out there know this. To those teams that's super duper good, y'all know ain't nobody getting better when you playing the team and you up 30 in the first quarter. Like, let's be honest, man. And I'm talking about me because that has been us.
We've seen teams that have been on these crazy runs that don't teach one blocking scheme ever in their whole run. Ever in their whole run. They don't teach not one real blocking scheme. They're all cat blocking. Yep. Sometimes the Jimmies and Joes matter. You get what I'm saying?
That's
like it ain't because of teaching.
That's true. Kel, what up, Kel? And so, you know, we're talking about as we talk about it, I'm just saying that it's a double-edged sword for me personally. And I said that out there. I think people that know me know I'm on both sides of it. But you know, I'm blessed at least to this point to be in a program, to be in the program, and to be in a program where we're still attractive to our community. So we still bring out 90% or 95% of Hartford kids on our rosters. Like, I have teams that's got about 30 kids with absolutely no waivers on it. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of programs can say that. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of programs can say that. KD coaching style. Take me
for clarity. The situation I'm currently a part of has not one waiver.
It happens. It happens, you know. And I have some teams that have a lot of waivers. You know, I got some teams that not a lot. I got some teams that got maybe 4 waivers. When I say a lot, that's a lot. Because, you know, but my point was I'm blessed to be in a program where we're still attractive to community, to my parents. We're still attractive to the community leaders. We're still attractive to the kids. We're still attractive to the public. So we naturally fill in our levels. Some of them are slower than others. I'll give you that. It ain't, you know, we ain't the New Haven Steelers. The old New Haven Steelers used to have lines of people. That ain't us no more, but we're still attractive. West, Coach Tito playing possum on where he at. I think we need to do a segment. Where's the general? We need to do a segment on where's the general.
General's a free agent.
That's what we need. Call Tito, y'all. He a free agent. Call the general. He open for NIL deals. Make sure the price is right. What we need, the Bentley or the you know, the Bentley and the, you know, give him a Bentley and a little Rolly. It can't tick though. Don't get him one from 125th. We know about them. I just signed them waivers unless the kid got your last name.
I don't know what that means.
The waiver issue will show when you see 3 teams in the age group and can't find games. Exactly.
I think that's currently happening.
But Gil, that's the problem, right? And then people will say, oh, everybody's scared to play me. No, ain't nobody got no team to play you. But I've been arguing this for years, if y'all remember this. I've been telling y'all, we eventually got to get to a point where all of Bridgeport got to sit your down. Hartford, you guys are going to have to sit your down. New Haven, you're going to have to sit your down. Everybody, New Britain, 2 teams, sit your down. Cooler heads need to prevail. Put these kids on one team so that there's games top to bottom. Every level. You have traditional teams that we know that has been good. I'm hearing got 3 programs. Meanwhile, I'm hearing, I don't know how true it is, Tito, that the Cowboys out of Bridgeport got 2 or 3 8th grade teams. Now, I want you to think about something. There's no Florida on the line. There's no national championship on the line. There's none of that on the line. and they're putting out a better league, kids going to high school, and they're putting out more games and teams than both national leagues combined. Something is wrong with the national leagues, locally, regionally, and nationally, that a local league that has not as much to offer as far as the glitz and glamour of Florida, and they're outperforming the national leagues. That we're going to talk about in depth one day. But I want y'all to think about that. Where I hear they got 17 to 25 12U teams. And yet we got 12U teams that's looking for games, because I don't even think in New England, do we even have 25 12U teams between AYF and Pop Warner total?
Yeah. Some of those leagues are big.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, some of those leagues are big.
Okay, let's do this. That's one league. Let's take Boston AYF. Let's take Northeastern Mass Pop Warner. Let's take Connecticut all of AYF.
The big league in Mass is Central.
Pop Warner,
the big league in Mass is Central Mass. The big league in Mass
let's
is
take
Central
that one
Mass.
out. Let's take that one out. Take all the other leagues combined. We don't beat them. So my point is this, though, that given that Wakeman giving out free registration. So what y'all saying to me is there's kids out there, but they're not playing at AYF and Pop Warner because they can't afford it? There's no kid that tried to register for the Hurricanes and said, I don't have no money, that's not playing football. I doubt there's anybody, JB, that showed up to you and said, my mom is broke, but really wants to play football. Is there anything you can do? And you said, nah, I can't do nothing for you. Hit the road. It can't be, dog, there's 17 8th grade teams in Fairfield County. 17 8th grade teams. That's 13U, dog. That's 13U. Wakeman ain't giving out no free waivers, no free registrations. And they're not giving out free registrations. So I'm just saying.
And their rate and their fee, I think their fee's like $3.5 bills. I think it's up to. Like their fee ain't cheap.
I want to get the Fairfield County president on, nothing negative. I want to talk to them about what are they doing that's so attractive to the kids in Fairfield County that all of these droves of kids are coming out playing.
Well, I can tell you one thing is a lot of them are attached to their high school, and we don't have that in the inner cities. You know, that dynamic has been
but that what they got to do with the
they're true feeders over there. We don't have feeders out this way.
But still, there's an 8th grader sitting that's not there's 8-year-olds that's just not sitting at home in Fairfield County, but in Meriden and Stratford and Milford, they're deciding to sit home. Why? Why is it that if Milford joined Fairfield County, their numbers explode, but when they stay in Pop Warner, they're low?
That goes back to the LeBron effect and the loading of teams and stuff like that. Why would they want to be a part of that when they could go to a league like that where there's probably, I mean, in fairness, a more equal playing field?
Maybe it's the coaches. Nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that they think these coaches are so great that the whole Fairfield County is coming out to play football. But they don't really know about Springfield and Hartford and New Haven, so I ain't really going to go play for those guys. I just don't give them that much credit. They might be great coaches. They might not. I'm not casting a spell on Fairfield County coaches at all. We know Gil's a good coach, right? So we know they got good coaches out there. What I'm saying is I just don't believe that they're getting these droves of. I want to know. I would like to know for myself. And it said Wakeman is $325 total, $165 for the boys and club membership. The rest go to football. Study hall is twice a week, and kids get fed free after practice. Dope. So if I offered that in the city of Hartford, would I get double the kids? I'm going to try that next year. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I don't believe in saying nothing and not being able to do it. I'm going to try to
Yeah, but they have a facility. Hold on, Phil. They got a facility there attached
That's
to
that
it.
Boys and Girls Club. So I'm gonna try to get Andy Fisher School right here, right at the top of the hill, and I'm gonna try to open it up for get fed right after practice, every practice. Lunch meals, something. I'm gonna make a deal with like Meals on Wheels or something. Let them know the community we're serving, and I'm gonna see how that affects our. And so I'm gonna advertise that prior to, because I'm a student of the game, dog. When it comes to this business, right? I'm willing to learn. And if the national leagues was smart, they tune into our podcast all the time. Because one thing that we do for the national leagues, we give them the ground perspective. Because their head is up in the cloud and we hope that their feet is on the ground. And they need to be understanding something. If you're AYF or you're Pop Warner and you're in Connecticut, you should be saying, how are we getting outdone combined by a league with non-affiliation? If I was the head of AYF, if I was the head of Pop Warner, I'd be asking my question and I'd be doing some investigation. Shit, I'm a little bit more direct. I probably would have called the president of Fairfield County and had a conversation. What are you doing out there? I'm not starting a league out there, but what are you doing? What's your tactics? What's going on? And then give it to your region or your league presidents to learn. It's okay to learn from some of these people. Community feels comfortable to stay home and the money is different. That's a possibility. Maybe the money is nothing, so they're getting it done.
Only one eighth grade team for Wakeman.
There is a waiting list. So there's one. Being a part of Wakeman last year as a brother of a player was real dope. Nothing bad to say about it. Then why'd you leave, Tyree? Tell us that. If it was dope, it was good coaching and all of that, give me a reason why you would leave. Could it be that we cater more to the inner city kids and family that's not financially fortunate? So, Larry, it could be, but do you know of one kid that didn't play because of financial? I don't. I don't know one kid that couldn't play because of financial. And we do charge, and obviously Wakeman charge, but I don't know one kid that said they wanted to play but didn't play unless, and this could be true, unless we got parents whose ego is bigger than the desire for their kids to play football, so they prefer not to even ask because they feel embarrassed. Gil, let me ask you, if a parent out there in Fairfield County say they don't got money, what happens? Do you guys work with them? Are there scholarships, or is the answer no? I would love to line it up with one of their teams. Feel free. Gil's on, Gene. Reach out to Gil, inbox him. I'm sure he could tell you whether it's possible or not for you guys to play them. I don't know the rules in either league, so that might be possible. But at the end of the day, Tito, I think that was a good discussion. I think both sides could take away something. Those that sign waivers, those that don't sign waivers, I think they could take away from something. I just think that it was a real good discussion, and some people would disagree with our points. That's the beauty of.
Bottom line is the day of facing adversity and trying to climb up out of it is over because of the LeBron effect, and I think it's bad for team sports in general. I think LeBron has been bad for sports in general. That's just my opinion, because he showed people, he took another route, which that's not the true competitive warrior spirit. That ain't it. Oh, I can't win here. Let me jump on over here. Like that. That's not what this thing was supposed to be about at all.
If y'all remember, a kid wanted to test himself against inner city kids, more competition in practice. DB, West Haven has a former cornerback on the staff. That doesn't mean he know how to coach, but I got you. Is travel. Fairfield County teams do not travel so far to play games. It could be travel, but I also got to let you guys know, again, because you're on a more talented team don't mean you have better practice habits. There's no correlation between better being on a more talented team and having better practice habits. Now, West Haven happened to have a good coach and Coach Rick. I would assume I've never went and scouted one of y'all practices. I promise. I never. Even though I was accused of that one time with West Haven of showing up. A parent said they saw a hurricane in the back of the window leaving one year we were playing them at JV. Even though I got accused of it, I never did. You guys have Rick, who I believe is one of the best coaches in New England. So I would assume that you guys' practice habits is good, Tyree. I will say that about Rick. Keeping it 100, the elephant in the room, most families use football as a babysitting service. Fairfield is there for football, so they make it a family environment out of it. Dad's pushing.
Plus, they're attached. Plus, a lot of those situations are directly attached to their high school, and I think that has something to do with it too. I believe that.
Dad's pushing waivers is nasty work. What are you teaching your child? Respectfully, parents can fill out a hardship waiver, and they will look to find a sponsor to sponsor the student athlete. Good stuff. All right. We're moving on. We don't all have to agree. We can respectfully disagree or just use it as insightful rhetoric. However you see it, you see it. Tito, next question. Are kids ever at fault when a coaches can't connect or coaches is cursing out kids or when a coach want to quit and a coach is coaching these 10-year-olds or 13-year-olds saying, F y'all motherfuckers, I quit and all of this. Is the kids ever at fault or does it always fall onto the coach?
Nope, it's always on the coach, bro. You got to find a way to get through to the kid. Kids can do whatever you teach them to do. Whatever you hold them accountable to do, they can absolutely do it. Now, can they all do it at the level of some others? No, we will all work created equally. So no, but I believe with proper teaching and proper repetition, any kid could be taught how to play a specific part of this game. So when you say, oh, he can't do it, that's the last thing I want to hear, because especially with an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and until they're older, I believe kids could do whatever if they're properly taught. If you have the ability to teach them and know how to get to them. That's a skill in itself. Not all kids get coached the same way.
I don't think you can ever blame the children. I think that we as coaches understand that let me rephrase that.
Not all of
us. As coaches should understand that when you're coaching, like in the NFL or college or high school, you're getting kids from different upbringings, different life experiences. And when all of that comes together, you're going to have to find a way to get through a group of kids. Coaching isn't a one-to-one sport. You don't get 30 kids and 30 coaches, right? And so it's groupthink. You're going to have a coach try to get a bunch of kids doing the same thing at the same time in unison. That's called success, in my opinion, of a play, right? And so it is going to be tough at times. You may have someone with ADHD. Nowadays, especially in the minority community, they're giving out ADHD is damn near almost every kid that want to go play. Right? I'm not going to go deep into that. I got theories, but ADHD is prevalent in the minority communities.
Oh, bro.
I only know that in the minority. I'm not saying it's not prevalent in the suburbs, but I know it's really prevalent in the minority community.
That's what bro, we were all born. We were all born with PTSD too. I mean, those are all these tags they want to get us to convince us that they want to convince us that that's the reason. No. The reason is what we talked about just a second ago. Nobody wants to face adversity. Nobody wants to go through the struggle to get to where they got to go. So then you want to blame it on a lot of times coaches lose sight of that too, and they don't want to put in the work of what it takes necessary to get through to these kids to get them to perform the way you want them to perform. The problem is us. It ain't them. The problem is we all want quick grits. Nobody wants to go through the hard shit. And I see it everywhere I go. I'm telling you, youth football is the worst coach youth sport out of all the sports.
Explain why you say that.
Bro, you go to a lot of people's practices, bro, and you know what you see. They roll the ball out there. Here we go, running plays. Before they even warm up or do anything team-related, bond-related, here we go. Let me show everybody I got the greatest offense on earth. Let me show people I got the greatest offense, greatest defense on earth. They're not teaching kids how to break the game down fundamentally per your part in it. Like, you don't see it. You don't see it. You don't see it. Very few places you see it. You don't see it.
Let's read some comments. 90% of Fairfield County teams are coached by their local high school coaches, teaching their system, establishing a culture early. Coaches saying can't when the kids are that young ain't it. These kids can do anything. You just got to teach them in a way that they individually understand. That's true. And let me say something out there to all of us coaches. From an educational standpoint, think of these players like your kids. You have to talk life and make them believe in stuff that you're going to try to teach them. When you're around kids and you oftentimes are loud about, man, yo, he can't do that. Yo, she can't do that. Yo, he can't do that. He's not a running back. When a coach is trying to teach that kid that, but you don't believe he can do it, so you blurt that out, the psyche of that child does start to sink in that he stops believing he can do it. So we all should be conscious about what we're saying to the kids or around the kids. Now, it's okay for me to tell Coach Tito, yo, he's not a running back. I don't think he is. When I've been working with the running backs, I probably shouldn't tell him to his face.
No,
it's
that's
okay to say
sidebar.
with the lineman.
Those are conversations you have after practice around away from the kids when you're evaluating. But too many times we see coaches resist the want to coach. Like Mike Tomlin said, they start making excuses why they can't teach the kid. Instead of trying to figure out how to teach the kid, they're worried about why you can't teach him. And then they want to pigeonhole him. Oh, well, he can't do that. Let's try him over here. That's not how this thing works, bro. Many years, bro, there's a kid that always starts off with the NPRs. The more he keeps playing, he may be a slow learner or whatever. The more he's getting in there, even if it's on scout defense, scout offense, he's making plays. Then all of a sudden, you're like, damn, we got to try this kid in the game. Next thing you know, you put him in the game and he's lights out. Like, I've seen it happen. There's always one kid a year that winds up coming from that group over there and that winds up in the rotation somehow.
And all right, let's try to play what we talking about.
We try to bring out the best in the collective.
What'd you say, Coach? What'd you say, Coach? What'd you just say, Coach?
I love coaches. Easy to beat.
I'm gonna share what you was just talking about for everybody can see it. This is Mike Tomlin speaking on coaches.
You just put the video up.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh,
everybody, listen real quick.
What'd you say, Coach? What'd you say, Coach? What'd you just say, Coach?
I love coaches that resist the responsibility of coaches, that talk negatively about a dude that can't learn and blah, blah. Man, if everybody could learn, we need less coaches.
Yeah, that's real.
Right? If the group didn't need management, then we wouldn't make as much. Yep. I love reading draft evals and somebody's talking about anything other than pedigree, talking about how poor somebody's hand usage is. Well, that's coaching. I don't run away from coaching. I run to coaching.
Love it.
It all is in line with that not seeking comfort. Because when you're a coach that's talking about somebody can't learn, you're seeking comfort because your teaching is struggling.
Yeah.
Facts.
Boom! Shakalaka, here coming to Chief Rocker.
That's the number one poison in youth football. That last statement that he just made. Your teaching is lacking.
It starts at home. You men can't coach a son that I, as a mom, treat as my sons. He will always be right, so don't you dare discipline him. It starts with the parents to help you hold the kids accountable. She's right, you know. You better say that, Rose. And that's why I left Danbury this season. Fill me in, Deuce. What do you mean? Tomlin is one of the great men. He is. One thing y'all will notice about Mike Tomlin is whether you like the Pittsburgh Steelers or not, think they underperform or not, one thing I respect about him is all the coaches, all his players say that he coaches. He's a coach. Like, nobody has ever accused him of not knowing his craft, not doing his thing from a culture perspective. Now, it's possible for you to be a good coach and not win. Newsflash, everybody.
What you mean? He has one though. He's a Super Bowl.
No.
winner.
I know. I'm just talking about overall. You know, a lot of people have stated Mike Tomlin has underperformed. Right. And in some seasons, you know, with Ben Roethlisberger and those guys, you know, we thought they should have went far and they was out in the first round. It happens. Football is a one-game sport. It's not the best of 7. Whoever's best that day. But I want to say something, coaches. It's okay to lose, and you can still be a good coach. You know what's funny about youth football, Tito? And I said this before. Only in youth football can a coach lose and they say he suck. But they'll never say that about Nick Saban. They'll never say that about Bill Belichick. They'll never say that about Lane Kiffin. Y'all probably don't know who Lane is, but Lane Kiffin, great coach in my opinion. Better offensive coordinator for Alabama, but great coach, right? They'll never say that about Harbaugh. But in youth football, we're so scared to lose. And I think that's part of the reason why we, the community, I'm not saying no, we always try to stack up and pack on the talent because we're afraid that somebody's going to take the social media and put a donut next to our name. Because that really gets under our skin. We are very emotional creatures in youth football. We're very emotional. Half of us do not know how to deal with the emotions of the game. And so we have to do everything we can to make sure we don't lose, except what we should do, which is what? How many of these coaches that's packing on and calling all these kids and texting kids trying to get them to play showed up to coaches' clinics this year? How many of them?
0.
Went and educated themselves in football? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get the best wide receiver to come play for me. I ain't got to learn nothing if I get better players. And so we don't know how to lose. So we get into an argument when somebody put a donut next to our name. It's true. We're scared. Now, I'm a sore loser. That's different than being scared to lose. I watch stupid amount of film. Tito, me and you flew. I flew. You was already down there. But we flew to Orlando to a coach's clinic to get education from coaches in another part of the country.
Bro, I flew down there too.
Better as a coach.
We went for the weekend.
It tells you we're seeking knowledge on purpose. I'm afraid to lose, dog. I do everything in my power not to lose. So every time I lose, you cheated because I was well prepared. I'm just telling y'all that. How he's never had a losing season. So, you know, in the NFL, Nate, is Super Bowl or bust. At least to some people. He's made every team he has ever had overachieve. Never had. That is true. He never had a losing.
People got to understand the Pittsburgh dynamic. The Pittsburgh dynamic they do not pay players and all that. Like, they're not one of those organizations.
That's true.
They don't throw away a bunch of money. So the fact that he's doing it within their budget and how they do it is impressive. And I know people ain't going to understand that because this is a win now society and all of that. They're not going to understand it. But he is the prime example of consistency and doing it the right way. They're not overpaying players. They're not overpaying coaches. They're not, and the good thing about Pittsburgh is they've only had like 3 or 4 coaches in their whole history that have been coaches there. You know what I'm saying? Cowher was there for 20-something years. Tomlin's been there going on 20 years now. Before that was Chuck Noll. He was there 30 years or some shit. Like, they haven't had a lot of coaches in their history.
You trying to coach with teaching football as a life lesson, and you have moms like Luisa Santos said that always want to fight. Stay where you at. We don't care about the Ravens fans' opinions. Here we go. Ravens. But y'all quick to put it on the coaches. I think you talk about the moms, Deuce. Y'all will be quick to put it on the coaches and their abilities. Of course they do. Like, listen, that's what people do. You load up in talent, and then you say, I'm the greatest coach. It's the name of the game, bro. Pittsburgh Steelers only had head coaches. That's true.
That's what I was saying.
Every 20 or 30 years. I have never lost. As a coach, I either win or learn. Nadeem gave me 2 hard lessons last year, and I'm better for it. I made a mistake I will not make again. So when we talk about, as we talk about the coaches and the kids being at fault, I'm gonna throw something else at the people. Well, I'm gonna ask y'all something. Have y'all ever had a kid, and people may not admit it, but just let's try to have real talk. I ain't gonna ask any coach. Do any coach know of a coach? Let's ask it like that. That has had a kid and either cut him or wanted to cut him because he was too disrupting to the team. My team was never loaded. That's true, Deuce. I can attest to that. I don't think you ever had a loaded team. I think you had a couple special players, and I think you had decent teams that competed as well from outside looking in, from what I heard and following rankings and all that. Tito, have you ever cut a kid? Meaning on your team, middle of the season, you headed the playoffs, you want this kid off your team to be better.
No, but there's kids that we've gotten thrown off, like when they don't meet the practice criteria or
right.
And I've only done that at the older levels. I've never done it with the littler kids. You 13, 14, where that shit starts happening.
Yeah, they don't.
Because you're just not going to keep swelling up on me and just being a total chaos on this team. At that point, you got to get rid of the bad apple. But coming up the ranks with the younger kids, never. The older kids, on a couple of occasions, yes. You know I've gotten rid of some studs, too. Like, nah, get out of here, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problems. With me, you got to show up to practice, and you're going to do it my way. If not, peace. Peace to the guys.
I don't think I've ever cut a kid. I don't think I've ever...
Throwing a kid off is not the same as cutting. There's two different things.
Right. I agree. Last year at 14U, I did kick a kid off my team. Like you said, he tried to fight on the sideline. It was during the game. He didn't try to fight the other team. He tried to fight us. And I had to remove him. It was actually when we were playing Dorchester at home. Kid tried to fight our players and our coach. And I just told him, yo, drop the equipment and just get outside the fence. Because at some point, and has always been a dog in our program. Really could have used them for the rest of the season. Would have made a difference. But it wasn't worth it in the end because it was just too disruptive. And I think adding that kid to the team, we were not a better team with him, even though he was probably as talented, as a lot more talented than 50% of our team. We were actually a worse team with him playing, if that makes sense.
Sometimes you're sending the wrong message when you try to make ways for, the disruptive kid like that. Like I said, me is more of a respect thing. Like if you're just going to constantly try to test me to my moral limits, I'm just going to say, bro, I got to think about the other 20-something kids, bro, and you got to go, cuz. So.
Yeah, that's always tough. I mean, I've never cut a kid because I was trying to run a system and he couldn't pick it up. Like, that doesn't make sense, right? All right, Tito. No, I think we talked about that one.
What?
No. I don't know how that popped up.
What?
Where's
Cotton? Ain't Cotton supposed to come on with these with the
hey everybody, we were going to do the AYF rankings. Cotton wasn't ready, so we're going to get back to you guys on that. We're going to get back to you guys on the Cotton situation. We didn't get to it, Tito, because Cotton said he wasn't ready. So I'm going to try to bring him on next week, in which he'll be able to give you guys preseason. I know everybody's waiting for the AYF rankings. But we'll be able to give you guys the preseason rankings next week for AYF. I think that'll be good. I think it'll be important. So Tito, old school versus new school football. What you got to say about it?
You know, I prefer the old school. I think old school football is a lot more grittier, a lot more efficient. I think today's football is a little cute, a little too much for TV, and I just think the methods of the old, when taught correctly now, could be impossible to deal with now because the game has changed.
See, I struggle with wanting to be I struggle with wanting to criticize new school football and looking like an old head that ain't willing to adapt. So I'll say it like this, and hopefully those out there can understand.
It's not the truth though, Phil, because we see.
I know.
we see locally up and down the region. When you see an 8U in the 2-back shotgun where they can't even get the goddamn snap back there, that is bad football. I don't care how cute it looks. That is bad football. When you line up 3-by-1 on the 1-yard line, snap the ball 5 yards back and can't get the 1 yard, don't ask me why. You just put yourself in a -5. I mean, it's just.
So, right. Well, see, so that's what I was going to say, basically, in a nutshell, right? I was going to say, I get the new school clap, the new school, you know, putting 2 running backs and doing this and pulling and all of that. Like, and when listen, at 13, 14, if you doing that stuff and you have the athletes to do it, kudos to you. I get it. I just find that that's easier to stop. I actually go down to nationals. I watch games around the nation on YouTube. 99% of all the national champions in youth football, Tito, they run their way to a championship. They do not pass their way to a championship. That doesn't mean they don't throw a bomb at the end and catch it and score and everybody cheers. But that means the dog teams, they run the rock, and they run the rock well. I have not seen a team since Pine Hills playing Dorchester in the spread the whole game and win a national championship. I watched Pine Hills do it out of Orlando area team, right there. I watched them do the handoff. I watched them throw posts and slants and flies and, you know, all over the place. I seen them do it. But I seen a 5-time national champion at varsity from Philadelphia, the Northwest Raiders, and then the Philly Blackhawks, because that coach went over there. I seen them run the double wing and win 5, 6 national championships in a row at the highest level. And this is when all of Miami was in Pop Warner. This is at the height when it was on ESPN and Miami was in Pop Warner. All of the Eastern region was in Pop Warner. When the Philly Blackhawks and Beacon House and the Northwest Raiders and all of them running the ball, teaching them blocking schemes, that is what worked. And so to me, that's old school football. Not a lot of teams today say, I'm going to line up. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to line up. I'm going to run the ball right at you with the wishbone, power eye, the double wing. Not a lot of teams do that because it's not fun. Like, let's be honest. It's not fun to watch. And frankly, a lot of kids don't find it fun. And so I think that you see it less and less, and you're starting to see the 2 running backs in the backfield going down and seeping down lower and lower and lower. You know what I'm saying? You're starting to see that 20-man personnel at the lower levels when you didn't really see that before, right? You really didn't see a 20-man personnel at an 8U or a 9U, and now you see it a lot more. It don't mean that it's right or wrong, but we're just giving our opinion on old versus new. That's all. If you're running it and you running successful, kudos. Maybe you win. It's not to say everybody's going to lose. You know, some people don't like direct snap, and some people win off a direct snap. What the hell? It works for them. But that's just it. But the game is not that anymore. I believe you have to mix the old and the new when you say this. I think of when Hodge left LaPlante. I do. You need to establish the running game playing in New England in November. I say that all the time. Nobody passes their way out of New England. On the Pop Warner side, I haven't watched a lot of AYF New England championships. But on the Pop Warner side, over the years I've been in it, a little over a decade, I have not seen one team pass their way out of here. You have to have running backs. You better have a line and a center and a quarterback. And you better be able to
ball security and ball security.
Now, people will pop you with a pass every now and then, but you better be able to run the ball. Have to assess your talent and make your decisions and schemes based off your roster. So, Greg, that's always a question.
I don't agree.
There's some people that do not base their scheme and their plays on their roster. There's some people that have a scheme, and no matter who come and play for them, this is the scheme we're running. I think that's you, Tito, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I think there's different philosophies on that. Not one right versus wrong, but there's different philosophies. I can tell you I have a set of offenses that's always going to get installed. I don't give a damn who I got. These offenses is getting installed, and this is what we're going to run. So that's just us. Emmis is also a guy. Emmis is going to be in the double wing, if I'm not mistaken. Don't matter who he get. He could get Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith, Craig Hodges. No, that's a basketball.
They all gonna learn. They all gonna learn how to run the wedge.
49ers running back Craig.
They all gonna learn how to run the wedge.
What was Craig?
Roger Craig, Tom Ratton.
Roger Craig. That's what I'm saying. And they're all going to be in the double wing. We watched Russell Wilson struggle in Denver because he couldn't run Sean Payton offense. I think that might be a little different than personnel, though. Because if my skills, I think that might be a little different. Well, the NFL is different, though, Greg. It's tough. They're all in the NFL. You're passing what 95% of the time. I think they pass now over 90%.
No. It's still.
I don't. It's not. They're not predominantly run.
You still see when they run, they're under center. I know that much.
When they run, they're under center. A lot of times you replace the same players to run the same. Roger Craig, that's my boy. Roger Craig, the high stepper. Roger Craig.
Well, he was a thing of beauty watching him run. His legs, he was different.
He
should be in the Hall of Fame. They're not gonna put him in, but he should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be.
He was the first real receiving threat, running back threat, all in one.
The old Madden games. I used to always use Roger Craig.
Not even that West Coast offense. That's an offense nobody talks about neither. It was an under center offense where it wasn't predicated on running. It was predicated on throwing side to side. But it was a great offense, the West Coast offense. That's what it was called, Bill Walsh's West Coast offense.
Rocket said Chip Kelly offense didn't work either in the NFL.
It didn't.
I think the problem with Chip Kelly offense is it took too long to develop. It was great for college.
Well, it's not that it took too long to develop. In the NFL, you have to be able to get under center and run the goddamn football. You have to. Just like in big-time college football, if you watch in all the playoff games, when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, them cats is lining up in 21 personnel, 11 personnel, sometimes 32 personnel, and they're getting after you running the football. They're gonna get under center and run the football.
If you have all fast wide receivers, you're gonna go to a run heavy offense. Absolutely. I've done it. I took a wide receiver.
We may have packages. We may have packages within the system where I could get those guys out in the field, but we're not changing what we do. I don't give who we get. I don't care who we get.
Why do that? Because for me, it's a percentage game, Deuce. In youth football, what's the percentage of connecting on a pass play versus the percentage of me teaching this team to be great at running plays? What's the percentage of success? So that's how I approach it. And I look at my team over the years. I looked at the youth football in New England. There hasn't been a lot of success passing the ball. It just hasn't.
You've had two organizations. I will say this again. You had those Watson coach teams about 5 years ago with his son, where they were in the spread 90% of the time, making it look easy. And then you had Steve Christie's Monroe Lions. Those are the only two organizations I've ever seen in Connecticut and New England that are in a shotgun 90% of the time and being very efficient with it. I have yet to see it since. I have yet to see it before, and I haven't seen it recently. So, and I'm around like that. So people could keep doing it. Well, I just said that, Emmis. Why cats always acting like you could stump the Schwab? You could never stump the Schwab, dog. Like, I haven't seen it, like I said, before, after, or recently.
LJ said Newtown did it well. Darren from Hartford used to pass that rock great. He did, but you know what we didn't do, Nate?
You didn't pass enough for him.
No, we didn't make it out. We didn't make it out. And you know why we didn't make it out? Because we were passing the ball and we didn't teach how to run better than we taught how to pass. I had a team. Y'all remember the Purge in 2017. I had one running back on that team. We were in spread. I had Kid Cannon. He's playing quarterback. He was at Windsor. Then he went to play at Brunswick. And now he's going to University of New Haven this year. That was the first quarterback I ever let call his own plays at 12 years old. 5 Ys, call his own plays. We played, that's the year we played Rick. Rick had the Hill brothers, or I think the oldest one, when they went to the national championship. It was nice and it was hot outside. We came out and spread. We beat that team 28-2. They went to the national championship. We never made it out of New England. We ran up against Dorchester. We was pass heavy. Dorchester was run heavy. Dorchester beat us. Couldn't pass. It was chill in the air. And in New England, you got to run the ball, dog.
Yo, here's my theory. There's three things that can happen when you throw a football and 2 of them are bad.
Incompleted interception. It's your boy PH the Prez, Mr. Above 140, and I'm here with my co-host.
It's your boy Coach Korea, the general. Peace to the guys in the earths.
Peace to the guys in the earths. And listen to me, y'all. We talked about having a coaches clinic. We don't think it's going to be able to happen, only because the timing not working out.
The season started.
But we need to, at some point, y'all, maybe get together as a community and have a coaches clinic. But my word of the day is twofold. One, you have never seen a Brinks truck behind a hearse. And just remember, they left you out of money moves, but they brought you into beef. They not your day ones. I'm going to let y'all think about that. I'm going to let y'all sit on that. That's some real shit right there. They left you out of the money conversations, but they brought you in on the beef. They not your guys.